A beautiful morning to you all out there. It's nice to have you again. Thank you for joining us on U45 Morning Show. Today is another beautiful week. It's the start of a new week. So whatever it is that you wish to have done before that you were unable to do, it's a fresh start for you. So why not just buckle up and start to do them right away. And then, so today on the show, we will be treating several things that we'll be seeing on the daily. So we'll be having our paper review, and then also we have trends and tags, and then sports is coming. All right, guys, Shegun Dinola Adeyemi is my name.
Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, Lagosians. Trust your weekend was good. It's the 20th day already of November. I think the month of November has been quite really fast. What do you think, Shegun?
Yeah, it's been quite fast, and then it's been progressive as well. So
yeah, I think the year just really wants to wind down so that we can say, hey, goodbye 2023. Good to be here this morning, U45 Morning Show, Nigerians. I am Osagi Solomon Wilfred.
All right, guys. So without wasting much of our time, we'll delve straight into the what the dailies are saying. We're starting off with the Vanguard. All right, so the Vanguard, the front burner says, Supreme Court rumble in judiciary over nomination of justices. The writer says, names of the FJS's lists excellent. That's saying that's from Professor Akinsheye George. He's a son. And then another one says, no cause for alarm. NJC CJN. All right, moving on. Inflation. Declining demand triggers 20% fall in food, beverage productions. You'll find that on page 27. And then 4 years after, Magu opens up, says corruption, Nigeria's greatest problem. You find out on page 8. I mean, we don't need Magu to tell us that. We all know that corruption is Nigeria's main, I wouldn't say main, I would say the only problem we have in Nigeria is corruption, because once corruption has been tackled, then every other thing will work.
Well, let's be realistic, Shegun. Do you think corruption can be tackled?
Now, that's the problem. Who and who will end the corruption? Because it's eating so deep into the foundation. So for us to start, we have to start from the grassroots. Not this our generation. Maybe the next generation coming.
Absolutely.
We'll see how
it's a total mind shift.
Yeah.
And then we have to start with the younger generation and then the coming generation, because this generation is all messed up already.
It's written off. All right, moving on. Say terror war. Niger remains member of multinational joint task force. High command. A little bit on sport. Sack Pesero now. Nigerian kick after another poor outing by the Eagles. What happened, Solomon?
Well, I've been saying that this bunch of players are the boys are good. Mm-hmm. The problem for me has always been the coach. And I don't know why the NFF and the sport ministry are playing politics with our Nigerian coaches. I mean, you can see that a lot of people have been calling for the head of Francis Uzor. He has not been consistent for club and country, but yet this coach decides to stick with him. Secondly, how can we be losing to Zimbabwe? These guys are not even in the first 100 ranked countries by FIFA. It's a shame, So I think whoever is calling for the head of Pesero is right on course. They have my support.
So how difficult is it? Why can't we get a well-qualified coach? I mean, there was a time Sunday Olise was like, look, I need this job. But then when politics came to play, he had to leave. Must there be politics in everything that has to do with Nigeria, education, finance, now sports?
I mean, it's back to what we started the show with, corruption. Corruption is the order of the day. Corruption is the language of an average Nigerian, especially in government and business. So the reason why Pesero is still Nigeria's coach, or why Nigeria has the funds to hire the best coaches in the world, but they decided to go for Pesero, and we can see what's going on. I think we should give the local coaches a chance.
I think we should. State of the Nation. What Tinubu will force us to do, by Bode George. You can find that on page 14 of the Vanguard newspaper.
And straight to the Guardian newspaper. It says, Lagos, others caught in fiscal recklessness amid huge legacy debts. And then there's a breakdown of the state's contentious budget lines there on the Guardian newspaper. And to another story, it says, caustic retirement speeches reflective of discontent in the judiciary. That's a news analysis. That's on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. Concerns over Tinubu's flurry of appointments and reversals, and that's on page 6 of page 15 of the Guardian newspaper. Another story. A headline says, a court sacks Plateau governor, ask INEC to withdraw certificate of return. That's on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Still on the Guardian newspaper, it says, Magu breaks silence over 4 years X-rays corruption. Magu breaks silence over 4 years X-rays corruption war. Page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Amend the CBN Act to insulate it from politics. Editorial page 12, the Guardian newspaper. Top military officers mourn as ex-coas Chris Ali passes at 79. As a tribute to Chris Ali, find that on page 14 of the Guardian newspaper. And finally, on the Guardian newspaper, it says, Rivers, Bayelsa oil communities lament neglect and failure to implement PIA. That's on page 8 of the Guardian newspaper.
Moving on to the Daily Sun. Tinubu dragged to court over INEC appointments. The writer says, budget syrup, 34 CSOs accuse president of naming loyal APC members as reg. Ask court to set aside appointments. Still in to Supreme Court as appeal court nullifies election. The writer says APC rep hails judgment, protest in Jos. Police warn troublemakers. You find out on page 27. And on page 2, currency in circulation hits new high, nears 3 trillion naira mark. Petroleum tankers drivers begin nationwide protest, threatens to exit Nupeng. You find out on page 25. Are we looking at another problem looming? Tankers driver wants to go on nationwide protest.
Well, I just hope we don't experience another protest or strike. Lack of fuel, the nation is already going through a lot of struggles. There are still queues in some of our filling stations, especially in Abuja. So this that we're hearing, the threats from Nupeng, I just hope that whatever their grievances are, they were able to, resolve. For more of that story, we can check the page 25 of the Daily Sun.
All right, moving on. Kayamo raises hope of Emirates flight resumption to Nigeria as Air Peace gets landing rights in Dubai airport. So hopefully Emirates flights resumes to Nigeria. But everybody is having one or two issues with the Nigerian government. So I just hope that this will be a good news, right? It's a good news for the aviation industry. All right, we are unaware of Supreme Court justices nomination list, NJC. They're unaware. Inaugurates 58 new sands November 27. Now, there's another headline that says NDLEA nabbed Abuja drug lord who escaped from prison 7 years ago. You find that on page 4. And finally, the people who are actually in charge, that's the prison services. I'm just curious to know, how would someone who happens to be in your custody escape from prison when you have your personnels everywhere? So how did he escape? And for over 7 years, they were unable to track him. How?
Well, a lot of factors could be involved, and one of them is how secure are some of these facilities, and then how trustworthy are the personnel. Because sometimes you see that these inmates, some of them are aided by the facility managers. Because for some of these prisons, they are well equipped, they are well secured, and it will not be easy for an inmate to break out of prison without being abated by one of the management staff, or one of the workers. So I mean, it's quite appalling that we see out this type of stories when it comes to our prison facilities. And straight to the Daily Trust, the screaming headline says, "Job racketeering, ripples at Character Commission over Reps delay reports." That's on page 4. The writer says, "Integrity, commissioners allege plot to kill report." We are in Sambisa, rendered redundant, FCC directors. Another writer says, "Allegations baseless, commission's chair," that's the chairperson. Then another writer says, "Our probe reports undergoing routine legislative process," says the rep. That's on page 4 of the Daily Trust. Still on the Daily Trust, it says, "Media Trust goes in search of missing radio tower." That's on page 3 of the Daily Trust. Another story says, "Appeal Court sacks Plateau governor, 3 other PDP lawmakers." Page 12 of the Daily Trust. Another headline says, "Uproar over Sanwo-Olu's 3.75 billion naira perfume and rechargeable fans." Page 37 of the Daily Trust. Still on the Daily Trust. "I don't miss being president," says President Buhari.
I don't think Nigeria missed him being president too. So hey, I mean, if it's a president that did excellently well for the country, right? I think the country will miss him, like they missed Jonathan, right? But I don't think Nigerians are missing Buhari at all.
But I mean, some Nigerians have come to say that the Buhari's administration
was better.
I mean, why do we keep having this type of stories? Why is it that I thought government should be a continuum? Why do we have previous administration being better than the current administration?
Well, it still boils down to the same corruption, because nobody really wants to work. Nobody wants to work. Everybody just loves the position of being the #1 citizen of the country. So, and then what kind of rechargeable fan?
Yeah, that story, man. I don't want to get.
Was it made in heaven?
You know, you see what we're talking about, public office holders. I mean, how can you have a perfume of 3.75 billion naira and rechargeable fans?
Was the perfume made in heaven?
I don't think heaven is that expensive.
Anyway, politicians are big spenders.
Of course they are. I mean, we were talking about it off air before we came on air. You know, the way they spend money, government money, for personal stuff is quite alarming. You know, I mean, our politicians out there, man, Nigerians are going through a lot of stress financially now. The economy is not the way it should be. And for us to read stories like this, I mean, it's quite appalling to many Nigerians. For more of that story, you can check page 5, of the Daily Trust.
I've always said that we don't have leaders in our country. We only have people in leadership position, right? They're in that position. But when you search inward, these guys are not leaders. So they've gotten power, but they don't know what to do with it because they are not leaders.
Well, I think I agree with you because leadership has to do with empathy. Leadership has to do with putting the people first, especially if we claim to be practicing democracy. Leadership, you have to be a visionary. Leadership, you have to, go with the plight of the people. You have to put the people first. But we don't see our leaders prioritize the people. It's all about self-aggrandizement, greed, I, myself, and my family. That has usually been the case. And it's quite unfortunate for Nigeria. But what do you think? Is it the problem? Is it when they go there or before they even go there?
Before they go there.
Yeah, because, I mean, the people birth their leaders. The next governor of Lagos State is amongst us today.
Yeah.
The next president of Nigeria is amongst us today.
They're grooming them.
Exactly. So by the time they go up there, they start living their true nature.
So, anyway, well, that's all we can take today on the dailies. Do not forget that Olusegun will be joining us. All right. So, right about now, we'll go on a break, and when we return, we will take a look at the entertainment trends and tags. And then we still have sports coming up, and Olusegun also will be joining us. So don't go anywhere, guys. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Family ties, a thorn in the flesh.
We need to remove him, otherwise we are going to be in trouble. You must kill him today, not tomorrow. Today!
There's a handsome prize on your head. And if you can top it, you walk free.
She's even awake. She's awake?
Will you stop that? And don't you dare repeat that again.
What is she doing?
I don't know.
My son is nowhere to be found and you asked me to relax. I can't.
So we're not going to eat?
You have to eat. Look at you. So you actually want to eat that food?
The way this food is smelling, I think it's really going to be delicious.
Oh, my son! Oh, my son!
What are you doing here?
I will not let you send her out.
She's your rival, you know.
I know she's your wife, and I know it's not right for you to treat her like that.
You heard me. Send yourself out before I come back to this house.
High Chief Major General Jones. Good evening.
What is good about this evening? Huh?
What happened now?
Don't mind them. You're not going anywhere. You stay.
Please. Please. What are you doing out of bed?
I needed a drink.
You could have called me.
I'm not the father of a thief. And that is what your son is. A thief. Stole the document to my house and sold it. And I swear, he's going to rot in jail.
It's okay, baby.
It's not okay.
Hello? Hello?
Family ties, a thorn in the flesh.
Na because you dey fight all of them. It is always good to live in peace with our neighbor.
How old are you?
I'm 25.
Yay! 25 years.
When people from different backgrounds live together, there is bound to be dispute of boundary, shared amenities. Your favorite TV comedy drama.
All right, welcome back from the break. It's still the U45 morning show. We've been looking at the dailies and so many stories, on the headlines. But Shegun, I've been, having this conversation off camera. Now, I think we should bring it up concerning leadership. Today, the major challenge of Nigeria, like many people have argued out there, is leadership. Some have said partly followership. Both of them are not far-fetched anyways, but leadership, do you think, first of all, what is leadership? Do you think, and secondly, do you think leadership is Nigeria's problem currently?
I wouldn't say leadership is a problem. I would say the people are our problem. The uneducated youth, like I would always say. If you're, when I mean educated, not really going to the four walls of the school, right? You've read a lot, you've heard a lot, you've learned a lot, not necessarily four walls of school, right? Mm-hmm. Now, I see no reason why somebody wants to lead you. A good leader wants to lead you, and you're saying because the person is not Yoruba, he cannot lead the people. Or because the person is not Hausa, he cannot lead the people. Or the person is not Ibibio or Igbo or Delta. Do you understand? A leader is a leader from any tribe. Take him. So long as he's a Nigerian, he's a Nigerian. Do you understand? So we have leaders, but the leaders have not been picked. They refuse, because a leader will not want to dent his or her name, because they put a lot of effort in building that name. So they will not want to dent it. And these people were parading everywhere as leaders. I'm not leaders. These guys are ready to dent their images. Do you understand? So these are the people we are electing. So I would say it is the problem of the people. If we elect the right people, into right offices, Nigeria will work, because I still believe that there are some people that are not corrupt, right? I still believe that there are some Nigerians that are not corrupt and are ready to work. They're serious to work. But then when they come and then on election day, you check this thing, they don't have up to 5 votes. I mean, they will be discouraged.
Shegun, is Nigeria's problem a leadership problem or followership problem?
Both.
Okay.
70% of followership. Now 30% is leadership.
Why do you say so?
If we don't put them there, they won't be there. Right? If we did not put them there, they won't be there. Now people are complaining. It is not what you told us, so we voted for you. This one, this one. Look at when you were voting, you were collecting 1 derika of rice, right? When you were voting, you were collecting 2,000 naira. So they will recoup their money. Do you understand? Now the true leader, the man that is not corrupt, the true leader is there. He does not have this money to throw around. Do you understand? He does not have this money to throw around because he knows that when he gets there, his mission is not to go and siphon public funds. His mission is to go there and see that the system works. Now, these are so-called leaders. The reason they are scared, the reason most of them are siphoning money is because they know that system does not work. All right, Solomon, I think let's save this for our guest. Sheson has joined us virtually. He's joining us virtually, and we'll be looking at the topic for today: leadership today. How are we faring as a people? As a nation, how are we faring? Is leadership truly our problem, or is it followership, like Solomon has said? Leadership or followership? Which one is our main problem? Sheson, you're welcome. Good morning, Olusegun.
Good morning, my brother. You hear me?
Olusegun, we can hear you.
Okay. Glad to be here this morning.
Nigeria, using the case study. Now, first of all, we want to find out what truly is leadership. And then secondly, is Nigeria's problem the problem of leadership or followership? So what do you have to say concerning this?
Okay, thank you very much. If we look at the definition of leadership, we know is the ability of individuals or being able to guide their followers. A set goal that will definitely impact on them. Look at the question, it borders about two. It will interest you that every leaders we are follower, and what is actually the value proposition in the course of following before it becomes leader. Again, when you I have this to say that is befalling us as a nation is both, but fundamentally more of followership, because leadership that we have today did not come from the, or we have ignored, that has actually made moved into the bad leadership, the crises, looking at the fundamental. So I've traced back into our follow, making sure that while some of us were growing up, there are people have within this. Tell yourself each time you're leaving your house, your parent tells you of whom you are. It's that you want to be a leader, but living, there are value propositions you've been taught, and that must be brought to manifestation when you're them. But these days, with actually why most of the leadership uh, greedy nature, which is not.
Olusegun, can you hear me? Your line is not too clear.
Okay, I'm hearing you now.
I think it could be network issues here and there. All right, good. You can hear me now. We talked about leadership, and you said that one of the major problems we have is not really leadership, but followership, because a leader is a product of the society. Now, whose responsibility it is to raise and groom leaders? Whose responsibility it is to transform good followership to transformational leaders? Whose responsibility it is?
Yeah, if your parent you are able to give the best, I'm sure you know the foundation of every home is parents give best education, not the academics, but also the topic, social studies, subjects that we are but where are those things to really put a lot of parents to need? You don't get it right by grooming the kind of people, preparing them for the future. I'm sure we're growing up. We're told that we're the future leaders of tomorrow. Is to tell you that they mention leadership as you grow up, that means you so that you can definitely have that. Parents are not even there to ask questions about some of the activities of their children and their works that they actually produce, and that what that is affecting our leaders to have it correct. From the environment we are, then definitely a leader knows that people actually and monitoring his activity in such a way that he must drive. But situation where the followers themselves are the ones. I don't want to talk about politics, that we have failure of leadership, even in private sector, in public setting, in civil service. A lot of these have actually been faulted, and we must go back to the drawing board to lay the right it right, even with our people.
Right. Olusegun, thank you very much. I was going to ask that question though. Like, does it mean that the family as an institution, right? Does it mean that the family as an institution has failed in grooming future leaders? And then, how can we salvage the situation from the homes and then our religious institution as well? How can we salvage this menace we find ourselves?
I would say that the family, it's quite disheartening when you see parents, consolidating on our boys or asking their children because all they want is money. It's not about the name. That's one for things that needs to be checked. We need to have it is by going and putting in our curriculum certain things that lead the leadership of the future, and also make sure that we have activity that the people who are the so-called. So you understand that a lot of and the failure of the to address is actually what is actually aggravating failure in terms of leadership. So going back to the drawing board to make sure that some of these activities are actually infused into our curriculum checking on other parents. You see, you might be busy. I know those days it's difficult for me to allow and report me that I've done. If that is done, I know that I'm sure of having, because she feels that you have actually disgraced her in public. This is when you correct the younger ones out there to say, please, I know what it cost me to get out of this. So we must get back, get family set, the economic, to take the responsibility of parenting, because the failure of today would definitely aggravate to failure of the planning for our future by not giving attention to the younger generation. That is key and very fundamental.
Forward to fixing the leadership or followership challenges that we're currently having in Nigeria when it comes to family, the government, and the religious organizations and the environment?
Yeah, I think what we continue knowing the body, we'll continue to speak, the NGOs, the religious bodies, those that are in current position today, we posing the ill in us right in such a way that you don't give room for it. We aren't others. Punish them if you discover that they have actually failed in actually delivering their responsibility the way they have done. And in that level, it will serve as a to make sure that they do what is needful, even in the public space.
I would like to ask you this final question. Are Nigerian public holders leaders? Looking at the qualities of a leader, are they truly leaders, or they are just public holders or politicians?
Well, the happens to accident to what is needful, but because they want to please one, they can tell you for free, because I've leadership and just at times we follow pressure on some of this to do what they are not willing or ready to do, and that's always when you find your place of leadership. No, not because of, and I think is the message that we are giving to our people now. Don't singing of the people that do it's your to that is that a good name is worth much millions of naira in the populace. That's what we met, and that's what we must go back to. Is if must work, but if the system was, then we must have the right set of at the place of leadership. Thank you.
We've been speaking with Olusegun Okunade. Thank you very much. And then, I mean, it's disheartening to see how the people in public offices are running the country, or running the economy. I mean, this was not what they meant while they were followers, while they were youth, while they were coming up. We had the likes of Nnamdi Azikiwe. We had the likes of Obafemi Awolowo. We had the likes of Tafawa Balewa. These men worked, and those were leaders. They worked, they struggled to make sure that Nigeria is intact. But the leaders we're having today, they're just there for...
Yeah, sure. It baffles me at what point we started getting it wrongly with leadership in Nigeria. I mean, you made mention of some nationalists who were both nationally and internationally reckoned with in terms of integrity, in terms of legacy. I mean, look at what the likes of Obafemi Awolowo did to the West, the free education policy. So a lot of Westerners who had benefited from it are still benefiting from it today. And that's why it's not far-fetched that the Yorubas are one of the most enlightened Nigerians, because of one man's philosophy. And we saw that in the likes of Nnamdi Azikiwe, Tafawa Balewa, Ahmed Bello. These guys were truly nationalists. And these were the foremost leaders that we had in Nigeria. But at what point Nigeria started missing it when it comes to leadership, it really baffles me.
It's something that we all need to look inward. So I will urge families, the institution, that's an institution, religious bodies, please try as much as possible to instill integrity in these kids while they're growing up.
Absolutely. Cultures, families, like Olusegun said, those days you are reminded of whose child you are. Don't go there and disappoint us. It wasn't about the money. It was more about the name, the pride, your integrity. But today, we don't see that being preached anymore. Parents,
it's just about money.
Parents are aware that their children are into internet fraud, and they don't mind having their own cards.
Of course.
That's what they want. That car that you just bought is mine. You go and buy yours. So we need to fix it, and the family has a role. That's what we're trying to say, Nigerians. The family has a role to play. The institutions, the environment, churches, mosques, they all have a role to play to help us groom individuals who will tomorrow be in leadership positions so that they can be able to govern properly.
Yes, so on that note, we'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll treat a little bit of trending and tags and sport also. Do not go anywhere, guys. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
It's Humor Hangout with Kofi the Guru, your host with the most. Ricky is a virgin. Why are you virginity?
I like food and I eat a lot, and you don't really see my body.
Where's the eat a lot?
You don't see my body, that's the special thing.
What's the female for Philip?
Philip. It can't be Philippines. It can't be Filipina.
Philomena. Paul.
Paula.
Tunde.
Tunde, no.
Like I tell people, it's for you to be great in whatever you do, you have to stay humble and believe that you are a learner.
Have you ever been asked to play a romantic role?
Of course, I've played romantic roles.
Hi, my name is Iyabojo, and you're watching Humor Hangout with Kofi the Guru.
The second half. Revolution! Moses. The long lineal line.
It's lights out and away we go. Bottas gets away well. He's alongside Lewis Hamilton and he's making good progress.
Some school of thoughts believe the major challenges confronting Nigeria as a nation is caused by poor leadership. How true is this? You and I can actually put government into tools to deliver the dividends of democracy. Join us every Saturday by 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Let us look at the issues confronting us as a nation. Together we talk heads. Nigeria can be great again. I'm Adenike Oweye Ajiboye. Keep a date.
What up, guys? How's your day going? How are you doing this? I want to believe that you're having fun, right? This bright and sunny day. You know that once you see this duo on your TV screen, we're here to serve you some entertainment.
And of course, entertaining gist coupled with good music won't hurt anybody, right? So here on Super Lunch, we get to entertain you, educate you on recent happenings in the world of entertainment. I am your girl, Eva Grace.
And I am Shegun Delala Adeyemi, the Duke of your airwaves. You know how it is. We serve you good entertainment Mondays all through to Fridays. And that's how we do. We'll take you on a smooth ride of entertainment. So don't go nowhere. Join us every Mondays to Fridays. We love you guys.
There's no place for pretense. I can't watch you stand. Oh no.
Ó ta lẹ́nu, ó pọ̀ lẹ́nu, ó dùn lẹ́nu. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o, ó ta lẹ́nu, ó pọ̀ lẹ́nu, ó dùn lẹ́nu. Yusuf Mọ́rúnsọ́lá ni orúkọ ti tèmi Funky ọmọ ẹ̀lẹ̀ tó gbásìkì tó dùn tó kí tó yí gbogbo. Ẹ pàdé mi ní gbogbo ọjọ́ Thursday 8:30 to 9:30 àti gbogbo ọjọ́ Saturday 1 to 2 fún ètò tó ga jù. Ẹ má miss ẹ̀, ó ga jù lẹ́tò. Ẹ pàdé mi, ó ṣàprápra.
Lẹ́nu ó pọ̀ lẹ́nu ó dùn lẹ́nu. Come on, I cannot do.
All right, guys, thank you for joining us. It's been a beautiful, beautiful day, and I just want to say thank you so much for staying tuned. We really appreciate, and we're still here talking about the state of the matter, things that are happening. All right, about now we're going to delve into trending and hashtags. Well, Joel Makego is in the studio already, and we know that we're still talking sports. Joel, well.
Always a pleasure to be here. Some will say I went on a walk, but I'm back. I'm back.
We miss you.
Yes, I really miss the house. You know, I think sometimes you just need to take a little break and all that. But it's good to be back.
Yeah, welcome. You look really refreshed.
Thank you very much.
Well, I would say you look good, and we missed you. Yeah.
Looking good is good business, I must say.
You know, that's good. All right, guys. So let's start off with AY. AY, the comedian, is lamenting. Like, okay, he said since he was a child that they be saying Nigeria go better. Yeah, that's like every Nigerian knows it. Nigeria go better. Now, the state of the economy is bad. but people will still say Nigeria go better. But I beg to differ because, I mean, as at then, in 1977, Nigeria was still good. Right?
That's when we had the first stack.
77. So Nigeria was still good. So I don't understand what it meant when he said he's over 50 years now, as he was a child, he was saying Nigeria go better.
No, but at the same time, I think it would be wrong for anybody trying to compare Nigeria with other countries where they've been to, because a lot of these celebrities, they've been to other part of the world, like America and Europe. So they try to look at the lifestyle they're trying to compare to what we have, because they believe we would have gone past where we are right now. You know, it's about 63 years Nigeria since we had our independence, and a lot of people believe we're still right in one position, which is not the best. You know, so I think what he's trying to say is, you know, we're supposed to have gone past where we are right now.
Yeah, well, I think I agree with you, Joel. A 50-year-old man doing first time, 77, is still a young man.
Yes.
You know, so he's probably saying that, well, even at that point, they've been hearing that Nigeria go better. You know, he go better. Not that
there's a country, yeah.
Exactly.
Present continuous.
We are not really experiencing it. If some parts of Nigeria was experiencing it, the betterment of Nigeria.
Yeah.
Maybe he and where he was at that time, they were yet to experience it. So they were optimistic that they were going to experience a better Nigeria. And look at him in his 50s, and we're still hoping for a better Nigeria.
But I tell you what, when you think of it, what is that word, go better? Like, what does it mean exactly? What is that better in it? Now, is it going to be, we're going to have 3 square meals in a day, proper education, you know, good governance and all that? You want to go abroad, you can fly first class and all that. So, what is the concept of the better there? I think it's imperative we look into that too.
I think it's all encompassing in terms of security, food, infrastructure, education, at least, you know, the dollar to the naira, everything, you know, when, as compared to the advanced nation, it should be fairly okay for Nigerians. If you choose to have 4 square meals in a day, fantastic for you. If you choose to have 2, good for you. Everybody is doing fine. You know, no greed, no nepotism, no corruption like we're battling with, no leaders who are self-centered. So that, I think that's the definition of it go better. But my opinion is we were not intentional about it. It was just a prayer, and that's my issue with Africans. We only pray and wish. We don't work towards it. What were the systems that were put in place to make sure that Nigeria becomes a better nation? This woman, late Dora Akunyili, had the slogan, good people, great nation. It was only a slogan. We didn't actualize it. There were no systems in place to make Nigerians build character. Like we talked about earlier, leadership traits. If you have leadership traits, and I have leadership traits, and Shegun has leadership traits, we'll be able to make sacrifice for each other. We'll be able to tolerate each other. We'll be thinking, you know, positively when it comes to our visions and our ambitions. But we don't see that in Nigeria. So no systems in place. It was just a mere wish of ego better, and nothing has changed, in my opinion.
I don't want to sound like an atheist, but I think we believe in the prayer too much here in Africa. We keep talking about God will help us, God will help us. We keep hearing that. We just keep praying and we don't work, no action.
Yeah, you're right. We keep praying. I don't have an issue with prayer, but the Bible said faith without work is dead. So when you have faith that God can do it, you have to put in the work. So that aspect of the work is what is missing.
AY has faith. What about our leaders? Do they have faith?
We have to stop. Let's stop there. While we move fully into sport, I would like to ask something. Ahmed Musa revealing that Victor Moses and Corruptiuon and then Mikel Obi left for a reason, death threat and all of that. What was that all about?
They left the Super Eagles for personal reasons.
Yeah, said
death threat.
Corruptiuon Igalo was because of death threat. He had to leave, and then the supporters, Super Eagles supporters, the Nigerian supporters. You know, Mikel Obi, when he started, it was like FIFA's boy does not fall. Once he falls on the pitch, referee must blow the whistle. But later it became not that relevant any longer. So people were not really vibing, they were not enjoying a style of play any longer. So I feel those are part of the things that made the supporters to not feel his presence, and because of that I don't know, but then they had their way in pushing them out of the system.
Well, I don't know what Ahmed Musa is trying to establish there, but we all know that when it comes to Nigerian football, nothing surprises us anymore. You know, the corruption, we've had cases of bribery and allegations. So if we're having death threat also, I mean,
that's the height of it.
It will not be far-fetched. We condemn it, but I mean, it will not be surprising that truly some of these players have experienced bullying and some type of threats. But what do you think, Joe?
But I think Mr. know exactly what he's talking about, because if I'm not mistaken, he's one of the highest capped players in the national team. He has a lot to, talk about when it comes to the national team. But I think before we go into that, let's look at the NPFL. Games were played in the NPFL yesterday. Nigerian Premier League is week 9, and a lot of teams are really talking tough. 3SC had a win right there in the battle against Kano Pillars, Almighty Kano Pillars, doing relegation, and they just came back to the NPFL, and they didn't perform very well against 3SC in the battle. And also you have some of Rivers State, Port Harcourt. It was 2-1 against Abia Warriors. I don't know what the Abia Warriors is doing, despite they have a new governor, and he said he's going to pump in money into football and all that. And so West Sporting Lagos had it 1-1 against Katsina United at home. Not a good one if you ask me. And Aqua United, it was 3-2 against Remo Stars. And Almighty Aimba had a beautiful win against Lobby Stars. And Enugu Rangers, they couldn't hold their own. It was a stalemate, 0-0 against Katsina United. And the table toppers right down the table is just week 9. I think it would be, it's not a good one when you start looking at the team that might win the league at the end of the season. But for the table toppers, you have Duma United, Lobby United, Remo Stars, and those are the top 4, 3SC.
I think we might just have a surprising winner when it comes to this.
But I think it's too early to conclude that just week 9.
That's why I'm using the probability of we might, because we all know that the league is a marathon. It's not a sprint. But we're seeing a lot of ups and downs. We're seeing wins. I love the fact that we're getting away wins, draws. We're having goals. Unlike the previous.
Not the usual stereotype thing.
Exactly. So kudos to the NPFL this season.
Anyway, kudos to the NPFL.
And Lobby Stars are doing a great job.
Yeah, they are. They're doing a great job. Now, a lot of people believe when you play football, you're supposed to retire, probably be a coach or administrator. Like in Lobby Stars, they have an ex-player, Dominic Yofa, as the chairman of the team. Imba have a Kanu Wanko and other things like that. So what do we expect? A better performance when you have someone that knows the game, the nitty-gritty, being like an administrator. I think it's a good one. It's a good way to go.
Yes, and we're also clamoring that these guys should also be in the NFF and the sport ministry. They should bring their experience and expertise into our sport ministry. We should separate sport from politics, and I think that's what has affected Nigeria's
over time.
Ministry.
Will keep affecting, because I don't think Nigeria is ready to separate those two.
Definitely.
Corruption will not allow them to separate politics from sport.
Now, how do you separate politics? So where do you get the funds from? The funds come from the federal government. I mean, you have a decree 101 that tells you you don't need to bring in government intervention into sports and all that. But you can't take them away. But they are the key players. They fund it.
Yes, definitely. They fund it. Now, what you need to do is government in functioning in every aspect of the economy. Are they functioning in every aspect of the economy? No. So take sports as, okay, this is another ministry, right? Okay, give you the minister for sport.
It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, for God's sake.
You understand? Yeah. And then task the minister for sport. Listen, you need, if hopefully someday we will have a president that loves sport.
We've seen that in the past, though. They keep telling you they love sports.
Just that.
But anyway, the big one, 12 games for win. Yos Pasiero, a lot of people are calling for his head. He had a game against Zimbabwe, the World Cup qualifier. It ended 1-1. Previously, I had a game that was 4 days back against Lesotho. I mean, low-flying Lesotho. It was 1-1. A lot of people didn't see that coming.
Lesotho, I mean, Nigeria should have defeated Lesotho 12-0.
Like what we did to Sao Tome and Principe.
Or 12-1. I mean, how? Let me maintain my
point. I mean, those who are calling for the head of Pesero, they are not wrong. I am also calling for his head. I've said it from the beginning. This crop of players are one of the best sets of talent that we have out there. But these talents need to be well assembled
collectively.
and that's the responsibility of the coach. I don't know where. I think to me, this is one of the worst gifts that Amaju Pinnick gifted Nigeria.
No, but I tell you what. Sorry to comment that. Now, a member of the House. A member of the NFF. His name is Honorable Inse. He said they can't sack the coach because they didn't employ the coach. It was the sport ministry that employed the coach. And now, when you talk about the sport ministry, it was Sunday Dare that employed him. That they can sack him. And this man is being owed, tons of money. He's being owed salaries, bonuses and all that. So if you sack him, compensation. So if you sack him, you're going to pay him compensation, because it's a breach of contract. So who's going to offset those bills?
So we're saying we're stuck right now.
That's what it means.
We're stuck.
Exactly what it means.
We can't be stuck. Then the minister does not know what he's doing. We can't be stuck with an employee. Who employed him? Sunday Dare. What did Sunday Dare do with his?
We weren't shown his terms of contract. That's another big one.
But no matter the terms of contract is to be paid for his services, right? And definitely the federal government allocated funds for that purpose. So what happened to the funds allocated for that purpose? What did Sunday Dare do to?
Now you're talking about funds allocated for that purpose. It's very interesting to know that a lot of grants comes from FIFA, and this is a body, the NFF, autonomous body that they can generate funds there for. When it comes to sourcing for funds and all that, it's a big entity. Now you keep having sponsors. What happens to those money? They pay. You can't pay coaches. You can't even pay players.
So it boils down to politicking, right? If a sport-loving president comes on board, right? Someone like Sunday Dare, you'll be called out for questioning. Someone like Amaju Pinnick, you'll be called out for questioning. You need to settle. If we have to sack this coach and then let the coach, Sunday Dare and Amaju Pinnick settle their differences, it's their business, right? We cannot suffer in Nigeria is a footballing nation.
I think I tend to agree with Shem.
Okay.
Because it seems like there's some type of politics.
Definitely, there are politics in the.
Some type of sharing.
Yeah.
Going on with these guys and Pesero that look, don't worry, this is my call. This is my call. So that's why it's impossible for an employer to say that an employee is unsackable.
Now let me break this down to you. Now, when he came into the country first, he was given a performance-based contract. 1 year, if you perform, you're going to get XYZ salary. And performance-based, he gets $70,000 at the end of the month, which I know he doesn't go with such funds. His friends or his colleagues, I'm going to give him the job, they will share from this money, which we all know. That is the level of corruption in Nigeria. And again, now he got the contract. And he's been paid 60,000. Who's following who, for God's sake?
Did he perform?
Yeah, to the NFL he performed, but for me he didn't perform. How can you play 12 games and you get just 4 wins and you tell me you are a grade A coach? You lost all international friendlies played by the Super Eagles, and right now we're stuck with this guy. That's just the word.
Now in all of this, the NFF has been mute.
They'll tell that me because they didn't employ him. It is sport ministry that employed the coach.
The sport ministry has been mute.
That's the word. We are choked right now.
More stories, please.
Now, not just that alone. I don't know if you saw the goal that was scored against the Super Eagles. Yes, for almost 33 yards. It's quite absurd for me.
That goal should not be discussed.
Hold on. Now, this is the first choice of the Super Eagles, as big as the country. Let me do an analysis. In the Nigerian Premier League, we have about 20 teams playing the league and 3 goalkeepers. That means we have about 63 goalkeepers, or more than 60 goalkeepers in the NPFL. Also in the NNL. Now, we have over 70 goalkeepers actively, duties for the clubs in Nigeria. We don't have a keeper. And this is Uzoho, that is the second choice in his club in Cyprus, Omonia in Cyprus. And I tell you what, this guy hasn't been on duty since the league started in Cyprus, and that is the first thing. That's the first choice of our national team. He's a sub. And now, if you list 100 countries that plays football in the world, Cyprus is not rated. What can you say about that?
And that is the second choice goalkeeper in a club
in Cyprus that is low rated. That is not even rated among top 100 performing nations in the world.
That guy to Super Eagles to be our
first choice goalkeeper.
That means you're telling us that the likes of Peter Rufai Ikeshorum, Abiodun,
Barua.
Yeah, and then the last goalkeeper.
Yeah, Vicente Yama.
That means you're trying to rubbish the efforts these people are putting.
Exactly what he's saying. Exactly what's happening.
And if you ask them, they will say we went for scouting, we went abroad. So this is what they are using our money.
We all know how the system works. It's not the issue of going abroad and all that. It has to do with the level of corruption in the country.
The politics and corruption in our sport ministry and the NFF is quite alarming. Now, before the game against Lesotho, Nigerians were excited that Amas Obasoge from Bende Insurance was given a call-up, and they were telling the coach that, okay, feature this guy. He has been consistent with Bende Insurance. Uzo, on the other hand, has not been. Let's give these home-based goalkeepers a chance. And he granted a press interview saying that he will stick with Uzo, no matter what.
What does that tell you? Uzo has a strong godfather in the NFF that tells him, look, you have to make sure my player is. Now, this is the trick about it. Now, let me tell you what. If you get a national team caller, it seems to be you're among the best we have.
Yes.
And now I know Ozoho is on the verge of leaving Cyprus because now you have to be active in your national team so clubs can see you abroad. Now, how do you do that? The way it seems, the politics is just making sure Ozoho be at the post so he can look active, then probably get a club abroad.
But which club abroad is going to sign that basket of
from Cyprus?
Cyprus, Israel, some of those.
If he had performed well,
Qatar.
If he had performed well against Lesotho, against Zimbabwe, other clubs might, oh wow, where has this guy been for so? But you could not perform.
And look at the groupings. We have other countries like Rwanda, you have Zimbabwe, South Africa, and Benin Republic on that same group. We just had 2 games and 2 draws, 2 points. Super Eagles, for God's sake.
All right, if we say we should continue with this, we will not leave this place. Guys, this is as much as we can take on today's edition of U45 Morning Show. Thank you so much for staying tuned. Really appreciate. And please, whatever you do, make sure that you instill good morals in the children, please, so that we can have good leaders tomorrow. From you,
always a pleasure having me. And like you said, the parents should instill good attitude in kids so they can turn around to be better kids tomorrow and rule the country better.
Yeah, absolutely. Every nation is a product of its followers.
Yeah.
So Nigerians should imbibe leadership culture so that we can, going forward, produce quality and competent leaders.
All right, so please, going forward, we need to produce competent and quality leaders. Shegun Dinola Adiemi is my name. Thank you for joining us.
Osagi Solomon Wilfred.
Goodbye for now.